Let's talk about artificial intelligence. Look, it's not some far-off sci-fi concept anymore. It's literally walking into UK classrooms as we speak. Now, it promises a total revolution in how we teach and learn, but it also brings a whole new set of pretty complex challenges. So let's dive in and really unpack what AI means for the UK's education system.
Okay, so first things first, let's make sure we're all on the same page. When we say AI in this explainer, what are we talking about? We mean computer systems doing tasks that, until now, have always needed a human brain. You know, things like learning new information, reasoning through problems, and making decisions. We're talking way beyond a fancy calculator here.
And that right there is the big question, isn't it? Is AI this incredible, revolutionary tool that's going to unlock personalized learning for every student? Or is it a Pandora's box, about to unleash a whole new world of problems around bias, inequality, and ethics? As you're about to see, the answer isn't simple. It's a complicated mix of both.
So here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with a framework to help us analyze the situation. Then we'll dig into the human and the systemic factors at play. And finally, we'll look at the big balancing act. How do you harness all that potential while managing the risks? To really get that full 360-degree view, we're going to use what's called a PESTLE analysis. It's a super useful framework that helps us look at an issue from 6 totally different angles, so we don't miss any of the crucial details. So what does PESTLE stand for? Well, it's political, economic, sociocultural, technological, legal, and environmental. By breaking down AI's impact into these 6 distinct areas, we can build a much clearer picture of what's really going on. All right, let's jump right into the first part of our analysis. We're going to start by focusing on the human side of the equation. We're talking about people, policies, and pockets. In other words, the sociocultural, political, and economic angles. Politically, you can see there's a real push. The UK government is throwing its weight behind AI in schools, even creating special task forces to try and make sure it's used ethically. But here's the massive flip side. Who's actually responsible when an AI makes a mistake? How do you govern these things? That question of accountability is what's keeping policymakers up at night. And this isn't just talk either. The government is putting its money where its mouth is. We're seeing a £2 million investment into the Oak National Academy, and that money is specifically for building AI tools to help lighten the load for teachers. That's a pretty clear political commitment. Okay, let's talk money, because this is where a huge tension really shows up. On the one hand, AI has the potential to save teachers incredible amounts of time and improve efficiency. But these systems are really expensive, and that's the risk, right? If only the wealthier schools can afford the best AI, you could accidentally make the gap between the haves and the have-nots even wider. Now, from a societal point of view, AI could be an absolute game changer for inclusion. Imagine personalized support for students with all kinds of different learning needs. But, and this is a huge but, there's a serious danger. AI learns from the data we give it. And if that data already reflects our own societal biases, the AI won't just learn those biases, it can actually amplify them. That is a massive ethical hurdle to overcome. Okay, let's shift gears. We've talked about the human elements, so now let's look at the systems that make all this run. We're diving into the technology itself, the laws trying to keep up with it, and its impact on our environment. Technologically, the promise is just enormous. We're talking about truly adaptive learning experiences that adjust to every single student's individual pace. But the reality on the ground? Well, that involves things like unreliable systems, cybersecurity threats, and the very real need for both teachers and students to be digitally savvy enough to use these tools in the first place. Legally, well, this is where things get really murky. Sure, AI can help track compliance and stuff like that, but it opens a can of worms. Think about it. Who actually owns the mountains of student data that these systems collect? And if an AI's decision negatively impacts a student's future, who's liable? Who do you sue? Our laws just weren't designed for this. And finally, the environment, an angle most people probably don't even think about. On the plus side, AI could make education greener by optimizing how we use resources. But the hidden cost? The massive data centers that power these AI models consume an incredible amount of energy. It's yet another critical trade-off we have to talk about. So after looking at this from all sides, we keep coming back to this central idea. The future of AI in UK education isn't a simple yes or no. It's all about finding that sweet spot, that perfect balance between harnessing its incredible power and carefully managing its very real risks. And when you lay it all out like this, a really clear pattern emerges, right? Every single opportunity, from government investment to saving teachers' time, is mirrored by a direct and difficult challenge, whether that's a lack of accountability or the danger of a widening digital divide. This is the tightrope that educators and policymakers are walking on right now. Ultimately, this quote from the source material just sums it all up perfectly. AI's destiny in our schools isn't set in stone. Whether it ends up being a massive force for good or source of new problems is going to depend entirely on the choices we make, on how we decide to use it and how we decide to regulate it. And all of this leaves us with one final, absolutely critical question we have to ask ourselves. As this technology gets woven deeper and deeper into our classrooms, the real challenge isn't just about making it work. It's about making it work for everyone. How do we build an AI-powered education system that is truly equitable and lifts up every single student, not just a select few?